What's good, guys? Welcome back to the Behind the Dugouts for your latest episode in my player breakdown series. And today we've got the new boy in blue, the Brazilian baller himself, that's just made the move to Chelsea this week. He's now on his way to join up with the squad for the FIFA Club World Cup and may even feature against Palmeiras in the quarterfinals. Now we're going to take a look at his stats from last year, have a look at the transfer fee and the potential wages, and then at the end I'm going to give this signing a ranking from S to D, with S being superb, stellar signing, D being doesn't really make sense. Now that that's out of the way, Joao Pedro, step up to the spot. So guys, unless you've been living under a rock since Saturday, you should be aware that Chelsea have had a pretty good weekend, to be honest. You know, slapping up Benfica to move into the next round of the Club World Cup, as well as adding a few more attacking additions, with one of them being Joao Pedro from Brighton. Now, I know we don't like mentioning Brighton because we don't like giving them money. We still got a bit of PTSD from Potter and obviously the ongoing PTSD that we have with Sanchez at the moment. But we have got a few gems out of them in Moises Caicedo and Cucurella. So it's a bit 50-50 in how you want to take it. And I saw somewhere that with the money that we've paid Brighton so far, they could have built their stadium, which is quite scary to think about, to be honest. But Joao Pedro, Brazilian forward, what kind of player, what is he going to bring to this team? How good is he really? Now I have to say off the bat, this has actually been quite a well-received transfer in the majority, not just in the Chelsea fan base, but also for our rivals. You know, I don't think I've seen one rival fan actually say that this is not a good signing, which is, you know, it's quite rare. Usually when any team's making a signing, the first thing the rival fans are doing is slagging them off as best as they can. But with Pedro, it just seems different, which is quite a positive. It basically shows that, you know, if our rivals were going in for these type of players, that he would be well received in any club, which is quite a positive, considering that we've now pipped them all to the signing of this player. And I think he's definitely going to be a player that is going to work well within our system. Now he is a forward, but he is a versatile forward, which means he doesn't just play up front. He can play on the left, he can play in the attacking role, and he can play out on the right if need be. So again, he's another player that's coming into the squad that is a versatile option, which is exactly what Maresca wants. And it looks like it's the way that the club are going to move forward, especially with the links that are still ongoing at the moment, saying, you know, they want these versatile forward players that can play in all these different positions. It does give the manager multiple options in when picking a team, because there will come a time where you'll come up against a certain team and you might need to play a different structure, an unusual lineup from the norm, and move those players around within the front line to best fit the tactics to win the game. So it does look like it's the approach that we are taking. Now, looking at Joao Pedro himself, he's done pretty well at Brighton, considering he's playing for Brighton. He's not a starting player. He's not starting every game, so he's coming off the bench, he's starting, mixing it throughout the season. I believe he had a red card, so which obviously caused him to miss a few games, and I think there was an injury as well throughout the season. So he didn't play the full 38 games. I'm just going to chuck up the stats on how he did last season. So looking at there, he's played the 33 games across all competitions, but looking at his league form, he's played a total of 27 games last year with 23 starts and 4 substitute appearances. It's better than a goal involvement in every other game, which is phenomenal stats compared to the team that he's playing in, the players that he's got around with him, and the fact that he obviously missed a lot of football and he's not starting every game. As you can see, he's coming off the bench in a few of the games. So to just put this into context, here's how he stacks up against our current 2 strikers in Nicholas Jackson and Liam Delap. See, Nicholas Jackson played a total of 30 Premier League games last season, 40 games in total, with 10 goals and 5 assists in the league last year. We have Liam Delap, who played a total of 37 games across the league last season with 12 goals and 2 assists. So Joao Pedro stacks up to our current forwards and has played less games in the league as well as in total. He is one of those forwards that is outperforming his expected output, which for Chelsea is brilliant. This is the kind of forward we need. He's clinical and needs to be. People argue that a lot of his goals were from the penalty spot. You still got to score them. You still got to put them in the back of the net. Goal's a goal at the end of the day. You're not going to cry about it when your team scored a penalty and worried about, oh, you scored a penalty again. Doesn't matter. He's scoring goals. He's getting assists. And looking at the type of player that he is, there's not really any weaknesses to his side of the game. He is pretty good in the air. You know, he scores headers. He tends to win his aerial duels most of the time. He's a great dribbler with the ball. Again, he's got progressive passing. He likes to link up with play. So he's an all-round forward. And because he's Brazilian, he's got that flair. He's fiery. He's technical side of the game. Again, I think he's going to be better technically than Jackson and Liam Delap on the ball, because it's just the nature of the type of footballer he is. Brazilian players are known for their close ball control. We look at some of the players that they've produced over the years in the likes of Neymar, Ronaldinho, players that just look like the ball is glued to their feet. So we know that Joao Pedro is going to come with this technical flair that, to be honest, at the moment, we don't really have in the striker lineup. So he's going to add something a little bit different for Maresca to use. And again, as we mentioned, he's quite a versatile player, so he's able to play in multiple different positions. If Maresca feels he can use them in a sort of a different tactical approach, which is great to have as a manager. Now, his transfer fee has been reported at around £60 million. This is including add-ons. I think the outright fee will be about 55 million with 5 million in add-ons, which, to be fair, with the type of player that he is, the contributions that he's made to Brighton over the last few years, the type of position that he is playing, again, his goal involvements, 16 goal involvements last year. You look at other players in this sort of category and this caliber of player. Remember, Joao Pedro is only 23 years old. So again, he's a young player that's going to fit within our youth bracket, you know, what the club want, young players. He's got considerably good output. And if we look at some of the other players that we are being linked to, so obviously we've made the signing of Bino Gittins, which around the same sort of pricing. We look at the likes of Ekitike, a player that we've been linked with for the majority of the window. He is in excess of 100 million. So I would say quite a fair price for Joao Pedro. The main reason being he is a Premier League proven player, so he's done it for a few years with Brighton and he's still producing some really good numbers. So for me, the transfer fee is what I sort of expect it to be. The wages, now, it hasn't really reported too much on his wages and what he's going to get at Chelsea, but his current wage at Brighton is about £50,000 a week, which again would definitely fit within our wage structure. I have a feeling he's probably going to get anywhere between 80 to maybe 110k. I would say within that bracket. He's definitely not going to come in and earn more than the likes of Cole Palmer and things like that. I believe Mudrik's on around 95k a week, somewhere in around that bracket. Obviously, now that we've got Champions League football, some of those players' wages and wage packet will have increased because of that. But I don't think Joao Pedro is going to come in and exceed a lot of those players that are on higher wages. So I do feel that he's going to fit in between that bracket, which again is a reasonable wage. It's not ridiculously high. It's going to fit within the wage structure that the club wants. So all in all, the club is getting a decent price for the type of player, the position and what he's produced. For his age, remember, young players are going to have a premium on them no matter where they come from. And because it's Chelsea and they know we are basically like the orphanage now of young kids, they're always going to slap more on top. And if you look, Brighton did purchase Joao Pedro for 30 million from Watford. So it was never going to be 40, 45. It was always going to be higher than that because they're going to want to make a profit on the sale. He is one of their more important players. So there was always going to be a bit of money on top, and I think 60 million is a reasonable price, and the wage packet is obviously going to fit within the club structure. So all in all, there's a lot of factors for this transfer that do work really, really well, and I do think it's going to add a lot to the team. He's very different to our two current forwards. He's not a physical brute like Liam Delap is. He's not an out and out winger turn striker like Jackson is. Joao Pedro is a sort of a blend of them both. He is physical. He has got the aggressive side, hence the red card. Hopefully he doesn't make that a common theme. We can't have more than one player out here getting red cards left, right and centre. So he's going to bring that aggression. So he's, very similar to Liam Delap in that way. He's also got great ball carrying ability. He loves to dribble. He loves to take on players. If he is playing out wide, one thing he loves to do is cut inside to get shots away. Very winger-esque. So again, he's very similar to Jackson in the type of winger attributes that he has. And he is clinical in front of goal. So he is a blend of both of those players, which is going to be great for the system, for Maresca, and to provide the club with lots of different options. So it really leads me into my ranking of this signing. And I think this signing is an S-rank signing for the club. I think he fits the mould. He fits the wage structure. I don't think the transfer fee was excessively high for the type of player and what we're getting. He's going to add experience, a Premier League proven experience as well, not just experience from different leagues. He's got a good return in goal involvements. He is a type of player that we don't currently have in the striking department in terms of the blend of both strikers. So all in all, I don't feel that there's any real downside to this signing. Obviously, naturally, with any signing, there's always going to be the risk factor of, is he going to work? We've had loads of strikers over the years, loads of different players come in and not live up to expectations. I personally don't feel Joao Pedro is going to be one of those players. I think, and I'm saying it here and now, that he is going to have a really, really good season with Chelsea next year. And we're going to be looking back going, this 60 million was a bargain for the player that we got. I do feel really strongly about the signing. I think this player is going to do wonders for us. He's going to link up well with the current squad. I think he's going to hit the ground running as well, to be honest. I don't think it's going to take him weeks on weeks and game on games to get himself settled in. I think because he knows the league, he knows Chelsea because he's come up against them before, he's going to embed in the squad pretty quickly. He's obviously going to have Esteval with him in the team, a fellow Brazilian. So lots of factors that is going to aid in his cohesion with the squad, which I think is going to make it a lot easier for him to adapt. And there is one thing that I want to put up just before I end this video that he mentioned in his video, and he haven't checked his announcement video. Please go watch it. It's probably one of the better announcement videos I've seen for quite a while. I'm really impressed with how they did it, but he mentioned one thing in particular in his video, which I'm going to pop on the screen now, which is what I love to see, and this is what I expect from all players coming into our club. You can only think about one thing: win titles. Yes, mate, win titles. This is what we want to hear. We want players coming in that want to win titles, not here to just participate and, oh, I'm going to improve the squad. No, you're here to improve the squad and win titles. And I love that. What a great way to start the bond between him and the Chelsea fans. Now, that's all from me, guys, but I'd love to know your thoughts on how you would rank the Joao Pedro signing. This is my opinion. This is how I feel the player is suited to the club and how, the club suits the player. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you are enjoying the content, please hit that like button, and I will catch you guys in the next one.